Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Trio Petroleum's channel, a preeminent oil and gas exploration and development company. Joining us to give us some really pivotal news about production and some amendments to some convertible notes. We have Michael L. Peterson, the CEO, joining us as always. Welcome back, sir.
Great. It's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I love getting you back on, especially considering you guys are this pivotal phase where basically production rig on site at your McCool Ranch oil field is basically starting that production of those two wells this week, I believe. Do you want to talk about where you're sitting with the production of those wells and what's kind of going on in this timeline?
Sure. I appreciate it. As you may remember, we have a field that had previously produced. It was shut in many years ago when oil prices were $29. We have the rights to that, 5 wells, and so we're just restarting those wells with steam, and we put them on those wells that produce 400 barrels a day. And so we're excited. We're going to start producing them cold, meaning we're not going to put steam in them at first because there's a lot of oil buildup that's gone on over the last 10 plus years. So we announced to the world that we have a rig on site. We're going to be starting the first 3 wells. We expected to do that at the beginning of the week. We had Mother Nature come in with the atmospheric river and drop 4.5 inches of rain on Tuesday on that land. So that kind of pushed us out a couple of days, but we're still on track to this week get that rig to begin opening up those 3 wells. We're excited about that because we'll start producing and we'll start revenue, and that's a huge milestone for the company. And then we also announced, which is very exciting, in the process of doing all this, I went through and had them relook at permits and look at all those types of things. We announced that we have the right, we have the ability to drill another 11 new wells, which is something that we didn't have before. But that opens up a huge opportunity for growth for the company. I had an independent researcher, independent geologist, do a analysis of the return characteristics of those wells, and he came back that these first 5 wells have a 500% IRR because we don't have to put much capital into them to get them started. And the new wells have 131% IRR, an IRR of 131%. So these are exciting wells, or they should provide great upside for the company as we go out and start to develop it. Each well costs about $800,000. I did a little thing showing if we put $6 million into the ground with cash flow, that's how much it would take us to do all 11 wells. We'd get that $6 million return of capital back within a year, and then the second year we would get another $6 million. It's a great it's a great opportunity. So anyway, that's what we announced. We're excited about that. That gives a roadmap, a path for this company to grow without having to go out and permit new wells, which is really exciting for this California opportunity, because it's harder to permit wells in California, and everyone else right now is saying they can't permit any, but we have these 11 that we can drill.
Yeah, sounds like one of the most pivotal years for the company. And I know there were some readjustments of the amendment of your convertible notes that the market might have saw as a bit of a negative, but you have some anecdotes to that, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I wanted to put out my press release, but some of the parties didn't want their names, and then they wanted to put all sorts of legalese around it, and it just looked ugly. And I wish I could have and explained. So I'll just explain that really what happens is with this convertible note, we arbitrarily set a limit of 35 cents a share as the minimum value of stock that we would be giving up. And so what happens is if this fund converts at, let's say, 25 cents, then we can give them shares. Let's say $200,000 they want to convert. And we say, okay, great, $200,000. Well, then they say, okay, at 35 cents, that means we can give you 471,000 shares. And then we say, yeah, but those 471,000 shares at 25 cents are only worth $140,000. So therefore, give us those 471,000 shares, but you also have to give us that difference. You have to give us that $80,000 of cash. And so what that effectively did was it made it every time we try to reduce the debt, we had to give them more cash. And that was just not a good situation. And so we looked at it with the stock trading 60 million shares, and people starting to get excited about it. We went and said, hey, it'd be a great opportunity for you to sell and pay off this debt. And they agreed. And so they went in there, and the stock was trading at 27 cents and 26 cents and all these different things. And they sold the maximum they could sell, which was $1 million of value. But then they came back to us and said, hey, by the way, now you owe us $650,000. And we said that's not what we agreed to. And then we looked at it and we said, oh, listen, we can simply lower that self-imposed 35 cents, 15 cents, and that will give you all shares. We don't have to give any cash. So to the benefit, our convertible note holder, which I won't mention their name, they worked very well with us. They were very friendly because anybody that would be negative or kind of not friendly would say, "No way, give us the cash," because they'd want the cash, right? But they said, "Okay, no, that's great. We'll take all shares." And so they've been very friendly with us. They've been very willing, very desirous to get rid of this note, so we don't have any of that overhang. And so I would just tell to investors, it was a very good change. It didn't change the note in any way. It just allowed us to not have to use the cash that we want to use to drill these wells. So that's kind of the update to help you understand what that amendment really was.
No, I definitely appreciate these insights, and I'll pass it off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think, but consider subscribing because when catalyst and news come down the wire, of course, we're going to bring it to you here. But on the note, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.